found The Naked Truth. Lively discussions about business, marketing, and personal development for small business owners. No hype, just help. Friday, mofos. The wheel. The wheel of names. Well, my Friday isn't done yet, so I don't feel qualified to answer that question, but it's off to a good start. So it's going. It's been a very busy Friday. It's another week. This week, more so than the past couple of weeks, was a true like blink of an eye and the week was over. Like, I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing or neither, but it sure did go by fast. What about you? Yeah, you're gonna be a little sore. Squats, yeah, squats are yeah. Wow, look at you. Mhm. Man, it goes by so fast. You know, I'm already 2.5 months into that mentorship program. Like, it feels like we were just talking about it before, and now I'm today wrapped up the first half of the third month. So it is. It's really nice. It's really nice. It's interesting. I'm learning so much from doing it because the other thing I'm noticing is, and I've had conversations with my. So what I do is I have group meetings every week, and then I have individual one-on-ones. Part of what they get is they get a one-on-one with me every week. And two of my one-on-ones this week, they were like, there's so much good stuff happening, but I have to slow down. And I was like, yeah, we can do that. So, I tried to make sure that I over delivered and I was cramming so much stuff into it. And back when we started 2.5 months ago, they were all like, they had all the time in the world because the pandemic had just stopped clients from coming into their offices. Now they're all getting clients that are coming in again. And so they don't have nothing but time. And so they're like, it was so fun at first because I was like creating all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I'm getting so much stuff done. They're like, now I feel like I'm trying to fit it in more around my clients. And they're like, so now it's starting to actually feel stressful. And I was like, then we'll just change it. We'll just, but it's been a fascinating thing to watch, and learn through. And the coolest thing about that, this is where, again, for our audience, I was one of those people for much of my adult life who, when I thought about selling something to someone, I was absolutely like, you cannot take money from people when you don't have the thing completely built. And this experience for me has been, I had heard other people say, yeah, you can. You just need to make sure that you're diligent and you stay ahead of them on the building, and that there are good ways to do it. And I was like, nope, nope, that's not cool. Like, I'm not taking people's money. And then finally I was like, no, like sometimes there have to be ways in which you should try it. And so I did that with this. And so I'm constantly building stuff, like, and they're doing great. And I'm like, okay, so now I've lived it, right? Like, you can actually sell something that you haven't even completely built, and it's okay as long as you have structures in place for how to keep delivering, right? And that was a really important experience to have. Exactly. Yeah. If I look at just what I've done in these 2.5 months, if I just on my own was like, I'm not going to sell it until I have this stuff built, I would still be waiting to sell it right now, because what I had happen was, by selling it, I put more pressure on myself to do it. And so I've been like cranking and cranking and cranking. Well, if I hadn't sold it, I wouldn't be cranking out content like I have been. So I'd still be waiting to sell it right now. Yeah, yeah. Square peg in a round hole. There you go. You do know. Yes, you got it. You got it. That's That's it. That's my job, is to anticipate your English as a second language translations. Yeah. 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 You've gotta have an idea though. Like, you can't just step in and wing it, Like, you've gotta have an idea. Like, I have all these maps and lists, and I don't, and I'm like, and they can change, right? They're allowed to be revised and things can get crossed out, but I always start with, like, how do I think I'm gonna spend the next 30 days with them? What would be the important learning objectives? And then, as I go in, yeah, it can change. And I mean, change, it's the most valuable part of it for me so far has been having the meetings and the questions that come up that show you like things you take for granted,
Right, right.
and then they're like, yeah, but what about this? And you're like, oh, I can make a video for that. And so then you go back and but in 2.5 months now, hold on.
Paul is going to
I
tell us
have,
something. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, this is, again, this just floors me that 2.5 months, my online mentorship program now, I have 21 modules already.
Wow. Yeah.
And none of those modules they all are anywhere from as few as maybe like 4 units in the module to some of them have a dozen or more units. Like, the amount of stuff that I've cranked out is just crazy.
And here's the thing, right? So this is, guys, what I love about what you're doing is like it's not just the content. You're actually meeting with them. You're helping them face to face in real time. It's not like, hey, watch this video and you're on your own.
Yeah, I think that's another part of that thing that you and I always talk about
Yeah.
is there's too much of that bullshit out there, right? There's
Yeah.
too much of like, let me take these like Zoom recordings that I did for some other thing and just sell them all
Yeah.
by themselves, and like,
And hopefully
let
you
me
get it.
charge 9.97 for that. because that's the way the system works. And then these poor people have to just watch these videos and figure it out from there. I'm like, that's bogus.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, go watch Wednesday's episode because we covered should you buy the course or not.
There's so much of that going on. There's
Tons,
so much.
tons.
It's ridiculous.
That's why we're doing it differently in the Naked Truth. So actually, let's do this one. Guys, you're watching us right now. Tell us truth and a lie about entrepreneurship. There's more than one way to grow your business. Is that truth or lies? All help is the same, truth or lie. Success is eliminating what doesn't work. And you know, even if this is too easy for you guys right now, we're gonna make it harder and harder.
That
We're
one's
just
pretty
getting started.
easy.
We're just
That one's pretty. That's a nice starting one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even on
So-
a Friday when you're ready to just go lay in a hammock and pass out, you still should be able to
Figure this out. So figure it out.
Right.
Let us know in the comments which one, 1, 2, or 3. Just type 1, 2, or 3. Which one is the right one? Which one is not working? I think Stuart is saying, hey, they can find us on the website, Mr. Paul Ramsey.
Oh.
Stuart says number 3. Is number 3 truth or lie? Which one is the lie, Stuart? 2 or 3? You're saying number 3. Number 3 is the lie, or number 3 is part of the truth? So Kobe Dadon says second one is a lie, question mark. Let's see what Stuart is saying. And then we'll tell ya. Kobe, good to see you, buddy. Really nice to see you guys. And Mark Grace is here. Mark, you should be hearing me right now. So we'll see. So Stuart says number 3. Kobe says second one is a lie. We'll see which one it is. And as you're thinking about it, remember, we also have another one to share with you. That one is going to be Mind Twister. So Stuart says number 3 is the lie. Kobe says number 2 is the lie. So let's see again. So number 1 is there's more than one way to grow your business. That is true. There are many ways to grow your business. Just go to Amazon, look at business growth, and you'll see all the ways that you can do that. Stuart says number 2, all help is the same. That is truth, Stuart says. And Kobe says that is a lie. Kobe, you are correct. All help is not the same. We talked about that on Wednesday, actually, when we were talking about how to find a mentor and know whether they did it or not. And a lot of people are, they're a one night hit, one song hit, where they just have one thing that works just one time, and now they're going and selling that one trick, and it only worked one time, right? They can't repeat it, and they can't teach it, and they can't do anything with it except that one-time success. So number 2 is a lie, because number 3, success is eliminating what doesn't work, is true. You are trying things out until you get it to work. So Kobe, congratulations, you were right. And as Paul is getting this site ready so you guys can hop in and talk to us, let's see this one. This one is a mind twister. There's a lot of myths out there. A lot of people think that, if you close your eyes and you picture what the average founder of a startup is like, which one do you see in front of you? What type of people do you see? Are there young, older, driven, technical geeks with a bunch of friends trying to launch a company? Or are they a little bit more mature and a little bit more experienced? Which one of these guys do you think is the average founder? Like, what is the average
This one
age
actually
of a
surprised
founder?
me.
It is surprising, right?
But then when you explained it, it didn't surprise me. But at first, it surprised me.
Yeah, so let's see. So Stuart is saying help is eliminating what doesn't work, wasn't considering the courses. Yeah. So let's see if you know which one is the average age. Let's see. Below 30, 35 to 45, 45 to 59. Put your numbers in the comments and we'll see if you got it, because that's a tongue twister. It's a little thingy. So, what we had this week, we had our book where we were talking about skills, and everybody can getting them if you go deep enough. We talked about content marketing and whether you should be buying courses and systems or you should just take action. That was a Wednesday. Monday, we shared a bunch of things that are changing. We did not talk about Gwyneth Paltrow poll. Maybe this is like so rated R.
No, you know what? We should talk. It's Friday. What the hell? We should talk about it. And we talked about it before, actually, when she did the candle, This Smells Like My Vagina candle. We talked about that in an earlier episode. Yeah, we did. We did. We didn't talk about it in great detail, but we talked about it. It was one of our very first few episodes.
So, you know what's interesting about that one is that is all publicity good publicity? You know, because when she was revealing that candle with Jimmy Fallon, I think, her 14-year-old kid was walking right behind her. And I was like, is that good? Well, you know, parent, like, modeling for your kids? Like, is that really what we want to talk about? I don't know.
Well, so again, this is the fascinating world of like semantics, right? Like how individual human beings make meaning out of things can be so varied, right? It can be so varied. So I think it comes down in some ways. What we love to do in particularly American culture is we love to immediately go to the place of judgment. Is it right or wrong that she did that? That's where most people want to go immediately, and then nowadays, and therefore, if I judge that it's wrong, how outraged should I be? You know, because it's like we're looking for opportunities to get outraged. And I'm like, one of my personal things is I like to keep trying to, I pride myself on being able to examine issues from viewpoints that may not be my own. I feel like that's part of where you keep your brain active and you keep yourself open to possibilities, right? So when I hear that now she's got this new, what is it? It's not a
this
candle.
Is the smell. Yeah, this is the smell of my orgasm.
Yeah, but is it a candle?
It's a candle.
It's a perfume.
No, it's a candle. No.
Well, I'm telling you, the one that I saw, it was a perfume. So maybe she's got both now. The first one was definitely a candle. The candle was This Smells Like My Vagina. Now there's if there is a candle, there's also a perfume of This Smells Like My Orgasm. And
no, buddy, it's a candle.
I'm telling you, I saw the ad and it said eau de parfum on it. Like she's got a perfume for it too.
Okay.
So why on earth would Paul Ramsey be why would I come up with that on my own? What are you talking about? So, you know, one of the things I think about is a recurrent theme in our culture. And it's not, we tend to be Western culture, Eastern culture at the broad level, right?
Yeah.
But not just in Western culture, because Europeans are not like Americans in this way.
No.
You're right. But the American discomfort around all things sexual, right? Yeah. While also paradoxically being completely okay with many things sexual in completely opposite ways. Like it has just become so common now for mainstream Americans to talk openly about pornography, the consumption of pornography, to make Pornhub jokes and stuff like this. And yet Gwyneth Paltrow makes a candle this candle smells like my vagina, and people lose their minds. Like you go, doesn't bother you when you're watching Pornhub, like,
or when you're buying dirty underwear,
right? Yeah. and it's like we are so weird when it comes to sex. And when I say
Americans are, yes.
Yeah, Americans are. Yes. Americans are. Americans are so freaking
But honestly,
weird.
Do you really want to walk into a house and that smells like someone's, vagina? No, I don't.
Well, apparently Gwyneth's vagina smells like sandalwood, which I love. So I'm like, yeah, I'd put that candle in my house.
So that would be like, you light the candle, someone walks in, go like, oh, Gwyneth Paltrow was here?
Right? Yeah, like I got to tell you, I don't know. You would need to, if Gwyneth, if you catch this, or Gwyneth's team, and you want to send us some samples,
so we can
we'll revisit this. But I have a hard time believing that Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina smells like sandalwood. Maybe, but
Pineapple should be pineapple.
So, but you know, there's this kind of stuff, and so like, to come back to my initial point is there actually a value in considering that there are many different ways you can look at this, but could Gwyneth Paltrow be helping women celebrate their femininity, their sexuality? I don't know, because again, I don't want to speak for women. I'm asking this genuinely. Is there a value to like celebrating the vagina through candles somehow? Maybe there is. I honestly, I don't know. Like, and I think anyone who immediately poo-poos that, like stop, like take a minute and think before you just react. Like,
okay, so here's the funny part. You know what? You're making me consider something I haven't, which is interesting. But if you really want to celebrate it and really want to, you know, actually honor your uni, right? Then shouldn't the smell be the smell and not sandalwood or pines or lavender?
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I get
because
that.
then it's like it's not really it, right?
Yeah. And again, you know, like, so what I read when the first story came out about the candle was that they named the candle that because literally when her team was in the testing room and they were smelling these, somebody smelled that candle and their first reaction, their visceral reaction was that someone said, "Oh my God, this smells like my vagina." So if this is like, you know,
So
I like
someone's
wine.
vagina is like, what was that? What's the smell?
Sandalwood?
Sandalwood. Is someone's
So
vagina
the sandalwood is more the later. Initially, it was something that wasn't sandalwood was what made the person wasn't saying they thought their vagina smelled like sandalwood. It was some other, this is like where I was, the next point I'm getting to is like, so I think in fairness, like when you drink wine, you hear people who drink wine, and I'm a big wine drinker. You hear people say, this wine, I can smell, it actually smells like cherries, even though you know it's made of grapes, or it smells like cranberries, or right? So we have this ability to pick different essential elements out of things. And my understanding from reading the article was that was what was happening. Was it wasn't like the candle only smelled like sandalwood and there was something else in the candle that the way that it hit that person's nose, they were like, "Oh my God, this smells like my vagina." And so they decided to run with it, and they sold out of those candles.
They did sell out. Yeah, they did.
Sold.
Yeah.
So, you know,
and now Gwyneth
like,
Paltrow goes around and goes like, "Yeah, that's what it smells like."
Now,
if you like that one,
there's going to be people, Ifat, who are going to watch this, and they've already made up their mind about Gwyneth Paltrow, right? Because Gwyneth Paltrow's taken a lot of bad press lately because her company made some claims about some of their products that were completely unscientific and that they couldn't back up, right? And so they got some bad press around that stuff. And so again, in our modern culture, we have a lot of people who that happened, they judged her, they have no desire to release that judgment. So now anything she does, they're going to shit on it, right? Like, and so I'm like, if you're one of those people and you're ready to start raving on us and, you know, wanting to cancel us because we're talking about Gwyneth's candle, like, okay, go find another podcast to listen to. I could give a shit, you know, like there's the stuff that like, I'm like, come on, can't we use our brains a little more?
But you know what? You're right. And it's very interesting because once you make a judgment about someone, it's kind of like very hard to change it. You're always going to have the little voice that goes like, yeah, but remember that one time? Yeah, it's very
and that's the emotional impact that gets imprinted on us from stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my dad ranted for 2 years about a local ice cream shop that gave him bad ice cream one day. It was like last year's ice cream. Instead of throwing it out, they were selling it to people, and it tasted all freezer burned and stuff, you know. And my dad ranted for 2 years. Every time we would drive by, he would start in. And I was like, "Dad, it was one ice cream cone. Like, let it go." You know, like,
but that's
let
the
it go,
memory.
Dad.
I mean,
it's ice cream cone.
You know, okay, so you know, biologically, we're supposed to kind of like remember that stuff so you don't go and experience it again.
Right. But you've got to have a mechanism for putting it in check, don't you?
Yeah, and it's too much work.
Like, what if I have a day, not that this could ever happen, but what if I had a day where I was just an asshole on this podcast? It might be today. So like, and someone came along, whether it was a returning user or a first time audience member, and they were like, whoa, that guy's a douche.
Or
Like,
what if I had a day where I can't say stuff in English?
that could happen,
That
right?
could happen,
I doubt
right?
it
Like
would.
that one
but,
day. And then
you
now
know,
you
and
think
so,
I can't speak English.
So is, you know, like, is that how you want to have your life lived, where you just put everything on someone, on a brand, on a person, on a thing based on that? You know, I don't know. I'm like, again, one of my goals in this show, I want to talk about business, marketing, and personal development. And in my personal development thing, I mean, again, folks, get used to, I feel like more than ever, we need somebody to have a voice of like, can we just be compassionate first? Like, it doesn't mean you're not allowed to ever get angry or disappointed or feel like something is stupid. Like, of course you can, but can we make a regular effort to be compassionate more often? Because if we don't, we're done for very soon.
It's true.
Like the way everything's going, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's true.
and so it's
true, yeah.
incredibly practical when we talk about these specific examples. Like, can you, you know, if Gwyneth Paltrow's company sells a supplement that claims it can cure something or help something and it can't, like, yes, they should be taken to task on that. But if they want to sell a candle and call it, this candle smells like my vagina, are they hurting anyone? Is
But
it
you
really
know what?
worth
It's
getting?
kind of like there are stores, right, that there are certain things I will never buy from, right? Like, hey, from this store, I never buy electronics. I might buy, I don't know, like kitchen gadgets,
Yeah.
like stuff like that, but I'll never buy electronics. So I think the challenge with what Gwyneth did is that now can't trust any of the health claims on her site because you don't know, right? If one thing or two things, I think there were a few things that were like not true, then you're like, okay, then this whole aisle of creams or peels or whatever, right, are out, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe she becomes a candle factory. I don't know. Mark says, I want mandals that smell like gasoline, cigars, and jet fumes.
So it
What-
probably meant candles. I want candles that smell like, yeah.
Gasoline,
But we know
cigars,
that.
and
Isn't
jet
that
fumes.
funny? There's those things. There's those things. Stuart just wrote, Paul, that would mean they have to be discriminating in their thoughts. Yeah, I'm like, when I look at some of the issues that we seem to face, I tend to trace a lot of them back to people's inability to like think critically, but rather just to almost always react emotionally. And of course, we're emotional beings and we're going to have emotional reactions, but we have to make an effort to balance them, right?
Yeah, and you know what? When you do that, that actually helps you with the news that are coming your way as well. So
Yeah,
there's a benefit
yeah.
for that. So before
Ifat, let me ask you this. Do you think that we should just start like flat out calling shit out on this show? Like, should we just start saying this, like, you know, if there are like, if somebody's doing, like, we try to be, I'm like, should we just start saying, I took this person's program, it was horrible, and like, we're doing you a favor by saying, don't ever take it.
So the only challenge with that is that we might be sued for we have to
For
sue the
sharing our
legality.
opinion?
For what do you call it? Libel, putting people libel, or like there's a thing for
Well,
that.
we could be, but again, isn't that really just, isn't that like if you do a product review,
Yeah.
right? If you
Yeah.
unbox a PS5 when they come out and you say, I use this and it stinks and I wouldn't recommend any of you buy it.
Yeah.
Aren't you allowed to give your
Yeah.
own review
yeah,
of a user
yeah.
experience?
Let's
I don't
look
know.
into that. Because we are reviewing, no, but we are reviewing. We're reviewing tools on Tuesday.
It's true, but we
So-
tend to stay focused on only things that will help people
Right.
and not call out things
That are not
right?
going to help people.
And that's probably a higher road to take, and we should keep taking it, right?
We should
No,
talk
I
about
mean
it.
that seriously.
Yeah,
Like, shouldn't
yeah.
we just keep focusing on the positive?
So instead of telling you what not to do, we'll tell you what to do, and then you'll know all the other stuff that we didn't talk about. Don't do them. How's that? So if we recommend a coach, know that we tested the coach, and the other coach that we're not going to talk about, don't go with them. And we'll say,
That's
you know,
better.
we don't have an experience with them, then try them out. But if we have an experience with them, we can just tell you, how about we say no comment, then you'll know that we don't like them. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. So let's answer this one because I think a lot of people are probably going to get this one wrong. The average founder of a startup, are they below 30, 35 to 45, or 45 to 59? Guys, you're watching us right now. Let us know, number one, number two, or number three. Stuart, what do you think? Number one, number two, or number three? Which one is what's the average age of a startup? We're talking startups. So
The startup founder.
startup founder, yes. So when you're looking at, like, you close your eyes, what do you see? You see the first guy, the second guy, or the last lady? Never see a lady, right? Let us know, and we're going to tell you the answer in a second. But first, we are going to spin the wheel.
Ah, she already won.
Did she? But she comes in.
She comes in.
And she
God,
comments.
this is where we have to keep. I'm like, we didn't come up with a rule for this in advance.
What's
All
your,
right.
What do you want to do? What's the?
I don't know. Now I'm like, we're on the spot, right? We didn't. This is our fault for not thinking of this in advance. Like, what if a person has won?
Well,
know?
but we want engagement. So if they're coming in and engaging
Right.
and commenting, then they should be rewarded. That's our thing, right?
True.
And if you come in more than once, like you come every day, then you're gonna get your name five
All right.
times in the
So
wheel.
here's my vote. Because we didn't come up with a rule, she wins today. But from now on, you cannot win more than once in a 30-day period.
And that is because.
So it gives other people a chance to win because, you know, the other people on the wheel commented too. Like,
Oh, I see.
and
Yeah,
then we spread the love a little bit more.
Yeah, but you can increase your chances by commenting daily. And you can comment in. And you know what? Actually, let's do this just so Paul feels better. We're going to put all the people who commented today, I'm going to add them to the wheel and we'll spin again. How's that?
Oh, we should. We have to include people who commented today.
That's
It's
true.
part of the week.
Yes. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to do that. Hold on a second. And we're going to spell it again. So Mark Yakovon, you're in.
Yak! I love him.
And Stuart is in. And Mark Grace, you're in. And Kobe Dadon, you're in.
There's
Let's
new
see.
names, Ifat. Who are
I
these new
know.
names?
I know. Hold on a second. My wheel spun without
We need
me.
to have, this is the bummer of the, I'm like, we need to have a meetup in real life. We need to have like that should be our big goal by the end of this calendar year, that we have like an entrepreneurship weekend meetup thing.
We should. As soon as it opens to travel, we should do that. Right? I'm sure we can do that again. Or we can do a Zoom call with all of you guys. Because that'll be cool. Okay, here we go. So we added you guys and
Ooh, there's a lot of names there. I love it.
spin the wheel.
Wouldn't it be
spin the
crazy if-
wheel. If she won again?
Yeah.
Kobe Dadon. That is so
Kobe
funny.
Dadon.
Kobe Dadon. Kobe Dadon is my buddy from here in Austin, Texas. So,
Oh, there you go.
so there you go. Mazal
What's
tov.
Kobe win?
So, Kobe, what you want? 15 minutes with me. Pick my brain. Bring your coffee. Bring some of your wife's desserts. Because they're good. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's a great ending for a fantastic week.
What are you going to do this weekend?
It's Father's Day weekend.
What is?
Yeah,
That's
so I
true.
get Sunday to myself. Yay.
Well, enjoy that. Very cool.
I will be working on my challenge, my upcoming challenge. I'm super,
There you
super
go.
excited about that stuff. And Saturday, maybe we're going to go to travel. Someone talked to me today and they said, oh, my friend moved from California to Boerne, Texas. And I was like, really? What's there? And I look it up. It's this tiny little town outside of San Antonio, about 2
Yeah.
hours from here. And you know, it's kind of like what you imagine small town to be. It's like a one street with little churches and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But it's beautiful in nature. They have lakes and they have waterfalls and they have like a dinosaur park. And I was like, well, maybe we'll wake up early on Saturday, drive down there. right? Me and Leo hike a little bit in the water, come back tired, and then he can have Father Day's weekend.
All right, I'm just gonna tell you, you can't hike in water.
Yes, you can.
That's not how hiking works.
Yes, you can.
You swim in the water, or you hike
if
on
the
the
water
mountain.
is only knee high, you can hike.
You
in
don't
the
know,
water.
but Ifat, come on now.
I've seen
Nobody
the
hikes in
pictures.
water.
No, I've seen the
No
pictures.
one
It's
hikes
like
in
this
water.
deep. It's not,
No, that's called wading. That's called wading in the water.
Okay, we're gonna wade.
You hike
in
up
the
a hill or a
water.
mountain.
Wade
You hike on
in
dry
the
land.
water.
You
Okay,
wade in the
you.
water.
Okay.
I'll send you a bill. You're welcome.
Okay, Larry. It's gonna be my thing for you.
All right, everybody. Happy
Fantastic
Friday.
weekend.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's episode, come back and spend more time with us. You could be on the broadcast sharing your thoughts. We hang out live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern at www.bethenakedtruth.com/live.